Hey there! I'm back for another weekend of filling my freezer and meal prep. It's early Friday morning and I'm up before the kids, which is something I strive for every morning. I hope everyone had a great week. I feel like we're in a nice rhythm. We had a really productive week of homeschooling, so we're able to take today off, which means I can get a jump on meal prep. But first, I need to put on something to listen to while I work. Last week, I listened to American Gospel, Christ Alone. This week, I'm going to listen to the second American Gospel. It's called Christ Crucified. Okay, now I'm ready. Let's get started with these chocolate graham crackers. Well, that's what I was going for with this recipe. I haven't found graham crackers here in Botswana, but these do come close. I'll list the ingredients down below. These cookies are a staple in our home and work great for s'mores. They have the chocolate built right in. They are a crispy, chocolatey cookie that stores well in the pantry. I'm making this recipe times 3. I'm going to bake some for today and freeze some for the weeks to come. I'm measuring out all my dry ingredients first. Then I'm going to add 7 tablespoons of cold cut up butter. I'm actually weighing my butter. According to Google, 7 tablespoons is about 98 grams. Our butter here is sold in these giant blocks, so it's hard for me to measure out tablespoons. Anyways, now that each bowl has some butter, I'm going to start running them through the food processor. I'm just going to let that go till everything is mixed together. Then I'm going to return each one back to the bowl. Now for the wet ingredients. We've got vanilla and milk. I'm going to bring in my hand mixer now. As you can see, it's still very crumbly. I'm going to work it a bit with my hands before turning it out onto the counter. Now that I have a cohesive dough, I'm going to form it into a cylinder shape. I'll then cut it into thirds. I'm going to form each piece into a flat disc shape before wrapping them each in cellophane. I'm sending 6 of these to the freezer. The others will chill in the fridge for me to bake later this afternoon. It's time to start baking. This dough is going to be a bit sticky. You might want to roll it out between 2 pieces of parchment paper, and you're going to have to work it a bit more with some flour. But don't worry, after adding that bit of flour, it becomes so easy to work with. Roll it out to your desired thickness, trying to make sure it's evenly rolled. Then you can start cutting out your crackers. I love this dough because it really holds its shape. Before popping these into the oven, I like to sprinkle the tops with sugar, then gently pat the sugar into the cookie. You're going to bake at 350 for 4 to 7 minutes. Keep a close eye. And there you have it, what my family calls chocolate graham crackers. You can store these in the pantry for up to a week, if they last that long. Now for chicken nuggets, another staple in my freezer. I have some boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I'm going to cut up into chicken nugget-sized pieces, tossing them in a big mixing bowl as I go. After they're all cut up, I'm going to generously season with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So now that that's done, let's gather the rest of our ingredients. We have breadcrumbs, eggs, flour, and cornstarch. I'm going to add the flour and cornstarch to a big mixing bowl and season that generously with salt, pepper, and garlic. I don't have exact measurements for you here, but I would say it's about 3 parts flour to 1 part cornstarch. In another bowl, we're going to whisk up some eggs. The last bowl is for breadcrumbs. I haven't come across any breadcrumbs here, so I'm using a type of Ritz cracker that I ran through my food processor. Okay, so now that I've got all my bowls filled and arranged into a little assembly line, it's time to get started. When I'm doing this, I like to keep one hand for the wet ingredients and the other for the dry. This can be a messy process, but I find that helps a bit. I'm going to take small handfuls of the chicken and go from bowl to bowl, first coating them in flour. I'm using a little sifter here that really helps to knock off all the excess flour. That's totally optional though, you don't need it. From the flour, we move on to the egg, making sure it gets fully coated. Before moving on to the breadcrumbs, you want to give that chicken a few shakes, taking a moment to let all that excess egg drip back into the bowl. Lastly, you're going to give them a nice coating in the breadcrumbs. I'm placing all the nuggets in a single layer in this baking dish. Once I have a full layer, I'm going to cover it with parchment paper and start on a new one. This dish fits my tiny freezer, so that's why I'm using it. If you have a bigger freezer, you could spread them out on a baking sheet and they would freeze much faster. To the freezer they go. So here we are the next day. As you can see, these nuggets are frozen solid. I'm going to store these in some freezer bags and they can just hang out in the freezer for months to come. When you're ready for some chicken nuggets, you can just grab them from the freezer and fry them from frozen. Just get your oil good and hot and fry until golden brown. Okay, that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share so I can keep bringing you more videos like this one. Till next time.